Alright, so about a year ago, I posted a video on here that was called How I Got Rid of My Writer's Block for Good. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. In that video, I talked about the experience that I had where I wrote my song Tetsuga, which I posted a few weeks ago. Back in 2017, and it took me literally a year to write because I was having like severe writer's block issues, but then I finally finished it a year later, and I go through like the whole kind of process and just how it was and what I learned from that experience, and basically give you a bunch of tips at the end of that video if you want to check it out. I had a lot of people tell me that it was really helpful for them for kind of overcoming their own writer's block. So basically, ever since I wrote that song, I haven't had writer's block. And so writing that song really destroyed my writer's block. And like I said, I go all into like how that happened in the video. So I'm not really going to talk about those exact things and the story behind it. You know, I figured since I just put out I re-recorded Tetsuga, I put that out on my channel on Spotify. So I was thinking like maybe in the spirit of Tetsuga, I could talk more about that topic, because I definitely have a lot more that I could say about writer's block and all that stuff. So yeah, that's been I guess like 4.5 years since I haven't had writer's block. So one thing I guess that I want to say first of all is that I read this book called Mastery back in I don't know, it was like several years ago, maybe like 2013 or something like that, and it was one of the best books I ever read personally. It's by Robert Greene, and he basically talks all about like all of these masters from history, just people who mastered something. Like it could have been Leonardo da Vinci. He talks about him and just kind of like his life and how they all got to where they are and how they got as good as they are. You know, they're all masters of what they do. One of the cool things that I got from it is that it basically, he dispels the myth of the genius. Like you have to be some kind of genius in order to get to this point. And he really makes the case that it really is more about hard work and practice in order to get to that point. So anyway, there was this one story that he tells. He tells a lot of different stories of different people. I forget what this guy's name was, but this was like hundreds of years ago or something. This guy, I don't even remember his name, but he was this poet, and he was having severe writer's block. And so he decided that he was going to write, I think it was either 30 or 40 lines per day, whether he felt like it or not. Even if it just felt like it was shit, he just wrote. So basically, he did that for so long until he ended up with this extremely long poem that was like 3,000 or 4,000 lines or something like that, and it became known as an epic poem. Basically, it's this genre called epic poetry. It's this like really long form version of poetry. And I don't know if that's what started or not, but he basically ended up with this epic poem that was like 3,000, 4,000 lines. So he finished his poem, and after he finished that poem, he never had writer's block ever again. There's a lot of dragonflies around here. There's like freaking 30 dragonflies just flying all around this random cemetery. Perfect place to talk about writer's block. I had an experience recently. I'm not going to say the exact names of the people involved. It made me realize that there's a lot of people out there who they have this like notion or this misconception, in my opinion, they have this misconception that in order to start creating something, you need to have ideas first. And to me, that could not be any further from the truth. Like, that is completely false. And actually, the way that I see it, it is the exact opposite. Because if you think about it, you think of like a ball rolling down a hill, right? You just imagine that in your mind. Ball rolling down a hill, okay? Did that ball start halfway down the hill? No, the ball started rolling after someone tipped it over down the hill, and then it started rolling down the hill. And then you see it rolling and gathering momentum, right? And it's the same exact thing as coming up with ideas and inspiration for things. It's not like, you know, you can't just wait for this moment where suddenly you're just immersed in ideas. It's like, that's probably not really going to happen, you know? And technically speaking, even if it did happen, there had to have been some kind of stimulus to start those ideas, you know, to start generating, basically. So basically what I'm saying is that we can't wait for ideas to just like start going, because that's not even really the way that it works, you know. But a lot of people have this misconception that they have to wait for that to happen to start creating, so they feel like uninspired and stuff, and like they have writer's block or whatever. But seriously, this is what you do. And I kind of talked about this a little bit in the last video, but what you do is you literally, if you're like an artist, you get your pencil, you literally start just like drawing. You go outside and there's a tree right up there, start drawing the tree. Get your guitar pick, start playing. Learn a song, you know, start coming up with things, just start playing. And don't even think about the word writer's block, because it doesn't even need to be a thing, right? It doesn't even need to be a thing. It's like, just start playing. When you start making stuff, ideas will naturally start to come. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the way of things. But like, I would say, like, don't even necessarily think about getting ideas or getting anything like that. Like, literally just play. Like, start playing stuff. It's almost like with us artists, we have this thing in mind, like there's this separate entity called writer's block, and it just kind of affects artists every now and then, as if it's like this external source that has like power over you or something. But it's really not. And I kind of feel like what really it comes down to is like these self-deprecating thoughts that we have in our head that says like, I can't do this, I don't have ideas, or something along those lines, like self-doubt, like second guessing everything that we're doing, something along those lines. So it's more about like the content in our head. It's not like there's actually this separate thing called writer's block. It's not even a thing. That's something that we're imagining. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm saying. Writer's block, if you think of it that way, it doesn't even really exist. Like, it doesn't even need to exist. It's really only as real as you make it. If you're someone who's experiencing writer's block and you're out there and you're watching this and you can relate to what I'm saying, I want to propose a challenge to you, all right? I want you to write something. I want you to write something every single day. So I'm a guitarist, I'm a musician, so for me that might be like write for a half hour every day or something like that. Or if you're a writer, it could be, write 30 lines every day. If you're a sketch artist, just kind of use your imagination, come up with different like parameters depending on what you do. If you're a sketch artist, draw for 15 minutes a day. But this is the thing, this is what I'm thinking. It's like, come up with your own parameter, but the first thing that you come up with is, I'm assuming, is probably going to be a little bit on the low side. I just feel like that's how I would feel, I guess, if I was in your position. So your mind might immediately go to something that's actually below what you're actually capable of, which that might not be the case, but I feel like a lot of people would have that happen. So if you're one of those people and in your gut, like, I could do more than that, that's just me kind of being a little bit nervous because I'm scared that I won't be able to do that or something like that. If what I just said there resonates with you, then up it a little bit, just a little bit. So just stretch what you thought was your limits there, just stretch it just a little bit. So if it was 15 minutes per day, for example, make it 20. Just stretch it a little bit more than you thought. So it would be draw for 20 minutes every day, and keep what you write or whatever you do. Just keep going and do it despite whatever thoughts are in your head. Despite if you think like this is crap or whatever you think about it, just keep writing until you finish it. So just keep writing, force yourself to keep what you write, You can edit things, but just keep going. I would also recommend setting a deadline for yourself. That definitely can help, because it's really just about like doing it, finishing it. That's it. It doesn't even matter if it's like good or not. It's just the fact that you're doing it is the most important part. And also comment, just let us know, let me know what you're going to do, what kind of action you're going to take, like what you're going to commit to. If it's like 30 lines per day or what, let me know what you're going to commit to. Put it in the comments, because when you write something down, it becomes more real to us. Writer's block, in my opinion, is a choice, because you can do that. You're capable of doing that. You're a human. You can definitely do that. You just gotta do it despite whatever stuff is in your head. It's not even the writer's block, it's just that you're letting this thing get the better of you, really. So just do it despite that, and that's the challenge. I know it can be challenging, so I don't want to sound like I'm harsh or anything like that. I'm just saying this because I care, because I want other people to have the same kind of success that I've had in the past, and destroying my writer's block for good. That's essentially what I did. So anyway, yeah, I post your stuff every Monday. So definitely subscribe if you're interested. You can check out, Tetsuga actually on Spotify or on my channel. And also, yeah, again, that video, the first parts of this is going to be in the description as well. So check that out if you're interested. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.